for the last 8 years or so, have been a part of Tata Capital, trying to build the organization as we move forward. Every lender looks at certain set of information before they make a decision to lend or not lend.
So we reached a point where we were asked, so what if 400 entities are there, so 300 entities are there, but what is the impact of it?
You come across customers who believe that they invest in equity, but finally when you look at the statement, they invest more in debt than in equities.
The digital public infrastructure, Aadhaar, UPI, and now AA has been a very important force multiplier.
Bank statement is the richest source of information which any credit evaluator can have at his or her disposal.
Actually yesterday I opened that same presentation to see how much we sold to you. Okay, was it actually true? Hello and welcome to Manthan, Sahamati's podcast series, where we look into the evolving and exciting world of India's Account Aggregator ecosystem. It is the world's largest and fastest growing open finance network. Today, we are very happy and excited to invite Mr. Rajiv Sabharwal, MD and CEO of Tata Capital. He has over 3 decades of rich and deep experience in India's financial sector space, especially lending. So I'm sure you have seen a lot of the key shifts in the entire financial sector, especially in the digital or financial ecosystem. So we'd love to hear from you about it.
First of all, thank you, Mahesh,
Yes.
for having me here. It truly has been an amazing journey over the last 35 years. I can say that I've seen the evolution of the financing industry, especially on the consumer side, playing out, because that's where the maximum shift has happened. I got into a consumer marketing company, consumer durable marketing, as my first job post my MBA. But in 2 years, I realized that far more is going to happen in the financial services space. So I moved into financial services just 2 years after my MBA. And since then, I've completely been focused on what's happening in the lending and over a period of time, the liability space. So I would say out of 35 years of experience, more than 90% has been in financial services. And also about 90% has been in Mumbai, which is the financial capital. And during this period, I have seen how NBFCs work, how HFCs work, have been a part of that ecosystem, and then spent 17 years in the banking space, looking at how not only how lending happens, how liabilities work, how technology works, how payment has evolved over a period of time, and how SMEs are a very crucial part of the India growth story. So this has been the experience, and now for the last 8 years or so, have been a part of Tata Capital, trying to build the organization as we move forward. During this journey of about 33 years in financial services, I've seen a lot change.
Not surprised.
Yeah, I remember the time when, everything was physical in its form. Application forms were physical. We were going to dealerships to source business or meeting SME customers or corporate clients, and everything was happening in their offices or at our office. IT systems were, basically core lending platforms at the back end. Everything used to move through paper, and finally, when the loan was going to get booked, it used to get entered into the system. All payments moving out was through checks. Also, the fact that when the customers needed to interact, it was all physical. Then it moved to call center slightly later, but it still was physical. And from that stage to the evolution which has happened, it's truly been a transformative journey, I would say. In the beginning, nobody had a website or an app, and it was either an ad placed in the newspaper to generate business, or you were encouraging customers to walk into your branches. If you were a little more innovative and you were driven, you would go out and search for customers and go and meet them in their offices. So from then on, things started getting digitized. Initially, you had app forms, becoming digital in nature. You had the payment ecosystem developing over a period of time. You had the digital payments infrastructure, the India stack coming into
Yes.
play. Then the whole evolution of how eKYC, e-agreements happened, and then you came and transformed. The whole account aggregator and similar ecosystems started getting developed. So one has seen this whole transformation happen, and today actually you can do everything in the digital world. Everything, the whole process of originating a loan, processing a loan, communication to the customer, final disbursement, and even collections is happening digitally.
Yes. So here we can clearly see that, I mean, from the examples you gave, your entire journey, that the digital transformation has clearly transformed the financial system in a very big way. And also we'll have to see that how the credit industry will pan out in the next phase of phases, I would say, of the digital transformation. So India now has a very, very large workable population. We have like about 65% of them who are below age 35. And by 2030, the middle class your population will be about 800 million. And we already have about 750 million internet users. So how do you think the credit industry could yeah, leverage this India story?
I would say we are all lucky to be a part of this country which has these opportunities. I can't imagine or could ever have a desire to be born in any other country.
Well,
If given a choice again, you still want to be born in this country which has tremendous opportunities. The amount of learning which we have had in this country, I don't think so one would have had anywhere else. Uh, and there are a number of reasons which are driving this whole transformation to happen. Uh, the basic infrastructure on payments, on technology, has ensured that our cost of processing is only going down over a period of time. You talked about digitization. I think that has really democratized credit far more than anything else. It's basically an ability of an individual sitting in any part of the country to be able to access information about products and services. He or she can choose from a multiple set of lenders. He can apply online and get loan online. This is the transformation, and this, according to me, is helping the whole credit market grow. Initially, every proposal used to be assessed on its own, and then learning started coming in, and we started creating cohorts, we started creating scorecards, and said that can we use information such that we can give an offer to the customer very quickly.
correct.
The ability of integrating, APIs, today we use that word so loosely, but that allowed the integration of many things to happen at the same point of time, so that we could process information coming in from multiple sources and could do it immediately.
Yes.
This has moved things very forward very quickly. Then you played a pivotal role, Sahamati played a pivotal role in getting account aggregator in place. This is the richest source of information. A bank statement is the richest source of
Yes.
information which any credit evaluator can have at his or her disposal. And to get it unadulterated directly from the source
With consent.
with consent
Yeah.
available to you is amazing.
Yes.
And you have ensured that the power remains still with the borrower. He can choose to give information or not. He can choose what information to give.
Yes.
He can choose for what period to give information, and he can choose to take back his consent
Yes.
also. So this is really giving the power in the hands of the borrower and then allowing lenders to have access so that they can make decisions which are more suited, I would say, to the borrower.
So it's a tailored product, actually, what they need. A personalized product, I would say.
Absolutely.
So we can hear, Rajiv, very clearly see that the, your credit landscape was and is and will be going through transformation. I mean, it's a, continuous, a process, and it has happened because of innovation and infrastructure. Okay. And, clearly, the credit has played an important role in fueling India's economy. But I would say India's digital public infrastructure, Aadhaar, UPI, and now AA, has been a very important force multiplier. It has been very, very important because, like as you said, on the fly, we are the lenders, because with you I'm talking on lenders, but any regulated entity is very easily able to access any of financial information with the consent, and it is completely fraud free. It comes from the source in an encrypted way, comes in real time, so you all are able to offer your product with a very, very low turnaround time, which is what, because today we are all very impatient people. We are on WhatsApp, etc. We want immediate results, and I think India's DPI has played an important role. And I think the other part which we need to say is that earlier, to offer credit, you had to be in the remote places. So thanks to the digital world, you are able to do in the whole thing remotely.
And if I may
Sure.
add, I remember it was started, this whole account aggregator concept started with bank statements, availability of bank information. But over a period of time, there is more information
More data
sources
types. Yeah.
which have got added, whether it is protection products, whether it's investment products, or utility payments in the future. So I'm saying there is more information which is getting added. And, the more information is available, more use cases
Yes.
can get created. For example, while talking to you, I'm just thinking if more information is available, it's not only a question of extending credit, it's also an ability to do a risk-based pricing.
Correct.
A customer can get a
Better rate.
better rate if more information is available.
Yes.
So the possibilities are just humongous.
And you see, with the example you gave, I should say that India, instead of going into open banking, which we hear a lot from other continents, we leapfrogged into open finance. Yes, it happened a bit later than the other countries, but I think the weight was, it was good because we went straight away into open finance, and the framework is such that we can add any kind of data. Hopefully, in future, whether it's income tax or provident fund, anything can be, yeah, plugged in, because the principles are the same. So at this point I would want to turn my focus to Tata Capital, but even before I get actually to that, I want to give a short summary of how we started our operations exactly 6 years ago in the month of June. A few volunteers who started, and we had the support of many entities, the banks, who were interested to look into this ecosystem. And in September 2021, it was officially launched by RBI as it has gone live. We had 8 private banks then, and in June 2022, all the public sector banks, 12 of them went live. So with that, we had like about 1.8 billion accounts who had access to account aggregator. They're not activated it, but they had the facility of account aggregator. So as early as 22, we were the largest open finance network, like actually in the world. And as of today, we have over 700 entities who have already joined the ecosystem and who are actively, making use of it. So we came to this very same building in March of 2022. So it's only in June the public sector banks went, but in the month of March 16th to be precise, we were invited to meet your actually team, because everybody's question was, what is a, what are the use cases, how does it help us? So actually yesterday I opened that same presentation to see how much we sold to you. Okay, was it actually true? But it was true. Okay, I went through each slide, it still holds good. And I should say that for that important workshop, the our entire company was here, which was only 4 employees. So I can happily say entire company of Sahamati actually came for a workshop.
Oh, I should say that it's really complimentary of not only you thinking about it, but remaining true to the purpose, and even in the face of failures,
Yes.
sticking to it
Yes.
and finally reaching here. See, today we say it is very good, and everybody says it's revolutionary in nature, which we don't see in any other economy. But we tend to forget that the initial period was a struggle.
Yes.
Where, a lot of people, I'm sure, said, this is not possible. You are banging your head against a wall. But I should really compliment people like you who stick to their tasks to finally reach there. And if it is fair and you can tell me, we should also compliment the regulator
Absolutely.
in allowing and blessing this concept and believing that it can really democratize credit in the long run. And also, some of the initial large players who came in and said, we will contribute.
Exactly.
So maybe you can...
Exactly. So, because this entire framework, is from the regulator, from RBI, also from all of the financial regulators. But you are, actually in bang on, as I told, in September 2021, when we went live, we had 8 private banks. Okay, and afterwards on all the PSBs. So we had to thank them that they were the data providers and not the data users. Okay, so without them, this ecosystem, it wouldn't have started. Of course, also I should say that the technology service providers who have helped all entities, including yours, to implement this framework, because nobody knew, as you said, will it take off? Forget about the growth. Will it start? Okay, so everybody gambled about it. So I would be interested to know that how exactly did Tata Capital start the integration of AA framework over here, because it is a huge mind shift. It is a culture change. So what are the kind of things which you had to take care of to align the leadership to ensure this would happen, and a company-wide rollout would happen for this framework across your products?
Every change is difficult. And for any change you want to bring about, there will always be a set of people who will express doubt on this actually happening and it being successful. So that did exist. But luckily for us, we had a young set of people within the organization, ones who have seen digital play out, the India stack play out, who've seen the advantage of digitizing everything. So for us, yes, there were set of people, but I would say majority believed in the fact that this is going to be a plus for the final customer. At we at Tata Capital we always start with the fact that is it good for the final borrower?
Exactly.
If it is good for the final borrower, we have to find a way to align towards that. And that's the reason I think right from that stage, we were very keen to be a part of,
Of this.
of this. And at that stage, we were also going through a change in or upgradation of our core lending platform, and so many other things were happening. Our teams were busy with many things, but we still did believe that it was important because it was good for the customer.
Yes.
And I think in the long run, we are happy to be a part of it. We are happy to see the evolution. We are happy to see more information move in, cross industry information move in. And today, we always say that highly recommended to use that should be AA.
Correct.
Only and only if we do not get information there,
Then plan B.
we have a plan B in place.
Yes.
So that is true for everything
Yes.
which we want to do. And somewhere I believe that this is good for the customer because it gives it, first of all, something which we don't realize, but this keeps his or her information safe. Just imagine someone parting with physical documents of bank statements. Rather than this, if you can move information digitally where even the lender doesn't need to take copies but processes information and makes a decision in a simple way, does not store any information, it just makes something more safe for even the borrower who's wanting to take a loan.
And especially now with the the new TPDP Act of 2023. Okay, now it is mandatory for any fiduciary to record the consent electronically to share the data. So account aggregator, even though it was born and implemented even before the act came, the basic principles of the DPDP Act were already there. So I would say that any entity, a financial entity to start with, I mean, they will have to use a framework, which after all is from the regulator. So that amount of trust is actually there. They know it has been blessed and it is from them. So, and also it is, with using AA or any DPI, the end consumer has the final choice to even shop around for financial service. Instead of giving 5 copies of the statements, he is able to very easily share. Of course, for all of you, it is more competition, but I think the competition brings the best, out of everybody. So in our case now, like the ecosystem has been live for 4 years, and year on year the number of the participants grew, and we saw that the number of transactions grew, all that, but which was fine. That was only numbers. So we reached a point where we were asked, so what if 400 entities are there, so 300 entities are there, but what is the impact of it? So obviously in the beginning we don't speak about impact, but we reached a stage. So we are about to release the F5 H2, which is October 2024 to March 2025, the lending report, the lending which is powered by AA. It is the third one in the series. So from H2 24, H1 25, and H2 25. So I have a few of the key points to share with you. So if you actually compare H1 and H2 of FY25, how AA is performed in lending, in the terms of value, it grew by 28%. In volume, it grew by 21%. For the entire FY25, the approximate disbursement of the loan was 1.62 lakh crores, which was given to about 185 lakh borrowers. Then if you compare FY24 and FY25, full year. Of course, then it was still small, so numbers may look good. In value, it grew by 205%, and in volume, it increased by 251%. And for FY25, if you see the entire the lending pie, that is which uses A and not using A, for the your personal and your consumer durable, the penetration was about 9%. And for things like the unsecured business loan, it is about 3.14%. Auto loan is 2%. Home loan and loan against property is actually 0.3%, which clearly shows that the adoption in these segments need to take off, but that is the opportunity.
Absolutely.
So the opportunities we see is in the secured lending, the MSME lending.
Absolutely.
The gap is very huge. Okay, many MSMEs want small loans for a small duration, short duration of time, and it is the DPI which can help you close that gap. And we actually as India, we speak about the digital, but we have a large population in India, the country, where they need help. So the very clearly, many need help with the journey, where you help them fill the form or actually complete the journey. Assisted journeys is for here. Okay, so that's another important thing which I think every entity has to look into. And the account aggregator has to be integrated not in the lending journey alone, but I would say in the entire lending life cycle. Onboarding, the collection, monitoring, and it helps everybody to, I would say, improve the size of the loan book, and also to be able to reduce their NPAs.
Just to add to what you were saying, I spoke about risk-based pricing. I think with this information, we can do a much better risk profiling also.
Yes, definitely.
Because a lot of times, we say we are of a particular type in terms of our ability to take risks or not. But the bank statement says far more about it. Along with that, if you have information on protection products as well as investment products, you can do a risk profiling of the customer
in real time,
in a more accurate way.
That is true.
I would say, which at times the customer himself could be a revelation to the customer also.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you come across customers who believe that they invest in equity, but finally when you look at the statement, they invest more in debt than in equity. So, it's just a true reflection of what you are doing. The ability to risk profile a customer also becomes better, I would say.
So, if you look at each of the DPIs, I always say that we can say that it has worked, it has delivered the job only when it will be delivered at the population scale. It should not be only for few people, but anybody who actually requires it. And I always take the inspiration from the postman who's able to deliver every square inch of the country. When can we do? So we were here in your office, Rajiv, in October 2024. It's the very first time I met your entire AA team. Like after you went on board, Shalu, who was the one who was helping us to see where they were and what the challenges were. And at the end of the meeting, so she told me a very important thing. So she told that yes, AA is working, etc. But what are you, Sahamati, or the industry actually doing to increase your customer awareness of AA? How do you increase the adoption of AA? So, what do you think we can do? We as our entity, Sahamati, or we by joining hands with the industry to increase the adoption of AA?
I think we spoke already about safety of data of the customer, which is important. Every lender looks at certain set of information before they make a decision to lend or not lend. So that information invariably will be sought. So if it moves in a safe manner, if it moves faster, then the decisions can be more accurate, data will remain safe, and decisions will be faster. The fact that the power to share information still resides with the customer, when to switch on and when to switch off, if that is made also aware to the customer, then he or she will feel more confident about sharing information. The fact that none of the information is stored at any level, and that itself also makes it, that it cannot be misused in any way.
Accountable.
So it brings in accountability. So, the pace, the safety, the fact that you could get a more appropriate loan if you share more information are all pluses for the customer. And I think it is, while Sahamati should do it, they should also work with banks and NBFCs so that this information also goes to their base. And, if the two entities, Sahamati and the information sharer or information user, work together, then this information can go out more. And, we also have the job of getting people who are not exposed to credit into the credit system.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there are two things. One, people who have not experienced credit. The other is people who have not experienced formal credit, because they are borrowing through the informal sources at much higher rates at terms which may be detrimental to them.
Yes.
So the need to bring them into the formal ecosystem also is extremely important.
It's actually the duty, I would say,
Yes.
to actually
Yes.
bring them into it. And by using AA, especially those who are having the thin files, they get an opportunity,
Absolutely.
to be included, in this vibrant world.
And the fact that if you've got other information, whether it's from utilities or elsewhere, allows a customer with thin information to also get credit because they have shared more information.
So I know you have already spoken about a lot of benefits, but if you had to share about 2 to 3, like actually benefits, which you see that you all have experienced using the account aggregator ecosystem, I would love to hear that.
First of all, it's the most accurate information which moves directly from the source. So a confidence level of the credit manager is very, very high. It's 100%. It can't be better than that. So the ability to, when you know that a source is accurate, then your confidence level in making decisions is faster. Two, I think this whole thing of saving tremendous amount of time by moving information digitally from multiple accounts into one place also allows for more availability of information, a better credit decision. Maybe a customer can get more appropriate loan depending on what his requirements are. These are the two biggest things according to me.
And I also hope as we go forward, the number of people who use AA to apply for insurance also increases. As a country,
Yes.
mainly, we are very badly, we are underinsured.
Yeah.
So there are many other areas like, the capital markets and all that, and I'm sure, it'll improve.
A better risk profiling of the customer.
Yes.
Better
So 360 degree.
appropriate products being sold to the customer, because this is what all regulators talk about. That have you risk profiled the customer? Are you selling appropriate products to the customer? This also becomes easier.
So at the end, I would, like to say, Rajiv, I mean, it was an excellent conversation. I heard about, how you started and about the few things about how you started. I think many young people will not be able to even relate to it. Okay, that, it was in a hard copy, because we had to always have a relationship with a branch, not even the other branches. And, about all the paper going up and down. So it was very enriching. We got a lot of, key insights. And I would like to take this opportunity to actually thank you on behalf of Sahamati and the ecosystem for sharing. And I would like to thank all our your listeners for watching this episode. So stay tuned, for our next episode. Thank you.
Thank you very much.